You say it's not a big deal, right? We hear this all the time. You say it's not a big deal, but your energy shifts says that when you talk about it, it's still a big deal. We have a tendency of avoiding the truth. And when you guys know I talk about leading with truth here on Next Level Transformation Talk, and when you say it's not a big deal, but when you talk about it, your body language shifts, your energy shifts, baby, it's a big deal. And it's nothing wrong with it being a big deal. And I get a lot of times you're probably saying it's not a big deal because you maybe are discussing it or telling it to somebody who don't really care or can't really assist or can't really help in the matter. And so you downplay it. But leading with truth is not downplaying what feels authentic to you. It's being honest. It's being upfront. Saying it's not a big deal, knowing doggone well it's a big deal that they played you like that. Knowing it's a big deal that they tried to defamate your character. Knowing it's a big deal that they support other people that do the same thing as you but don't support you. Okay, you doing emotional avoidance. Right? You're discrediting, you're disregarding yourself. And this is the thing that we hold other people accountable. Like especially with connections that we may have, family or friends, we hold them accountable to not disregard our feelings, to disregard our emotions, but we don't even give ourselves that same respect. If you downplaying something that is definitely a big deal to you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and you keep saying it's not a big deal, just simply because of who you're discussing it with or who you're telling it, you feel like they can't help, they can't assist, they don't understand, or you feel as if it's not as important to them. So what? You don't downplay it because it's important to you. It matters to you. It's something that it bothers you. And it's evident as much as you try to hide it, as much as you try to say, like, you know, I kind of brush that off a little bit. I kind of let that go type energy, baby. It's evident in the way that you speak. It's the way that you move. It's the way that when you hear about it, talk about it, baby, your whole energy shifts, right? So you continuously downplaying something that's a big deal for you is letting other people know that they ain't got to respect you how you feel either. That's a message. If you are continuously disregarding your feelings, but you're trying to expect everybody else to regard your feelings in a higher regard, make it make sense. If you're not doing it, why should they do it? Okay? If you're not giving yourself the respect or the attention or the truth about what you're currently feeling, what you're currently experiencing, you have no right to expect that for somebody else. I say this to my daughters all the time. You show people how to treat you based upon how you treat yourself. And if you're in this space of in the energy of disregarding or in the energy of downplaying or trying to minimize, right, what something bothers you or how something makes you feel or how something affects you mentally, emotionally, right? If you're downplaying that, saying it's not a big deal, knowing deep down within your spirit it's a big deal. Because when you talk about it, you start to get, yeah, the facial starts to change, the body language starts to adjust. It's evident. It's a problem. You're emotionally avoiding, but expecting other people to not avoid your emotions. Make it make sense. You're putting responsibility on other people that ultimately is your responsibility to do, meaning that is to pay attention to your emotions. You're expecting whoever you're connected to pay more attention to your emotions than you do yourself. Because I have done this. I have done this plenty of times, right? Because I felt as if the more, let me tell you why I did it, right? Because maybe this is you. The more that I felt that I was explaining how I felt in a state of vulnerability, and if I felt disregarded or if I felt misunderstood, I started to just be like, it's not no big deal. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. That was my favorite. It's whatever. It's whatever. That was my favorite thing to say. It's whatever. Knowing deep down it was a big deal. Knowing deep down it is a problem. But yet I was minimizing it for the simple fact that I felt as if that person or other people couldn't comprehend it in a level that I wanted them to. But that doesn't mean I had to disregard it. I still lived in my truth. This really does bother me. And it got to the point where You can lead in your truth and be upfront and be honest and say that this does bother you without you trying to convince somebody else that why it bothers you. That's where we have the mix up. That's where we have the confusion, is we are still focusing and putting our attention on trying to convince other people why this bothers us. Nah, I ain't trying to convince you. I'm letting you know what it is. It is a big deal for me. This does bother me. The way that you move, the way that you speak, the way that you act towards me does bother me. It's a big deal. You may brush it off. That's perfectly fine, but I'm not going to shy away from my truth. It bothers me. And I'm not going to sit here and waste energy trying to convince you why it bothers me. That's how you need to approach it. Be truthful, but don't try to be convincing. Don't try to be persuasive. That's not their job to understand that. Okay? But once they see that you respect yourself enough to hold truth and sit 10 toes down in how you feel, then yeah, they'll start to shift. And they start to be like, all right, let me pay attention a little because she not playing games. Let me pay attention a little bit because he's standing 10 toes down. But if you in the energy and you in the business of convincing, persuading, baby, you wasting time. You're wasting so much time, so much time, so much energy. Especially because it's like when you are in this space of convincing somebody that this is a big deal, whatever it is, I don't even matter what it is, whatever is a big deal for you, whatever is a big problem for you, if you're in the energy in the space of convincing or trying to persuade somebody else why this is a big deal, it's because you feel ashamed that it's a big deal for you. Why are you feeling ashamed about your feelings? Is the real question you need to ask yourself. Why do I feel ashamed about my feelings that I'm forcing somebody else to understand them? Message for somebody. Confirmation. My phone just vibrated. That was a message, because that's letting you know that you need somebody to approve how you feel. Where they do that at? My feelings, how I feel. I don't gotta prove it to you. This is how I feel. Okay? The only thing I ask of you is not to disrespect it. Okay? You don't gotta pay no attention to it. That's not what I'm telling you for. I'm telling you because it is a big deal, and I respect myself enough to acknowledge that this is a big deal. I'm not going to dismiss it simply because you feel as if it's not. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not going to ignore how I feel and how this is bothering me for the sake of your comfort. Where they do that at? Okay? I'm not asking you to understand. I'm not asking you to value, to be fair. I'm not asking you, but I am going to sit 10 toes. So I'm not going to diminish and dismiss it to make you feel comfortable. No, I'm going to live in my truth. It is a problem. And I'm not going to hide the fact that it's a problem either. It's a problem. Take it with that as you will. And take it as you will. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be a blessing unto others, but know that y'all blessed too.